gotta scoot back. Tribe, it is your girl Naja here, and I am back with another video, and I'm coming at you guys with a story time video. This one is kind of like a doozy, and it's just made me remember the story time because something happened recently that triggered the memory. That's usually how my story time goes, and then I write it in my notes section on my phone, and then I come in front of you guys and talk about it. If you are not familiar with my channel, my name is Naja. Please go ahead and click that subscribe button, become a part of the Voodoo Tribe. We post every Wednesday through Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and click that notification bell just to give yourself a little extra heads up. And here we go. So this happened when I was in college. I know I was in college. I think it was a freshman in college. I was only 18 years old, and I know this because I still had my Volkswagen Beetle. And this was also back when I smoked weed. If you guys are new here, I do not smoke weed anymore, but I did used to be a major pothead. So I was looking for a weed man, and it was really hard to find one because I had just gotten into like a little argument with my like reoccurring weed man. So I didn't want to go to him. So I was on the hunt for a weed man. Now, I cannot tell you how I even came in contact with this gentleman because I honestly don't remember. But we are going to call him, I'm trying to look for something around my room that will give me, like, I don't know. We're just gonna call him George. Fuck it. I got a George, what is that, Georgia paper or something over there by my printer. We're calling him George. At the time I was 18, George was 19. And I don't remember how I met George, but all I know is that once I did meet George, me and all of my friends were buying weed from George and not my usual weed man. Further down along the line, we did men shit with my usual weed man when we started being with him. So at this time in my life, I was still in a relationship with my ex-boyfriend, L. If you guys are not familiar with my channel, L is my ex, the biggest L I've ever taken, whatever. Go watch my old videos so you know more about that. The story is not about him. I was still in a relationship with L at the time, but even though we were in a relationship, we were very distant from one another. So like, we didn't really spend a lot of time together. We were kind of just in a relationship to have like that physical and emotional type thing going on. Like, it's just one of those things where it was like history. And you know, it's just, we were just together. We were stuck with each other. And more things into it why we were stuck. Once I started buying weed from George, I noticed that George really was shy around me, but I just thought he was shy around me because he didn't know me that well. There would be times where George would text me, and it's really weird because I'm only supposed to be texting George if I want some weed, you get what I'm saying? So there was one day where I had hit up George and asked him for some weed or whatever, and then literally right when I got home and I pulled off from picking up the weed, he was like, hey, do you want to like chill with me sometime? And to be honest, at this point, I think L had cheated on me twice. So I really wasn't feeling very like loyal or whatever, because now I'm the type of girl where like if a dude hits me up and he's talking about, hey, I want to chill with you, just me and you, I have enough common sense and respect for my man that I'm with right now to be like, no, sorry boo, not this one, sorry. But back then, I didn't really respect my ex at that point because I had already been cheated on twice. I even had to go and get a fucking test. I had to go get tested for STDs and shit because this nigga was so violent. So I really didn't care how the fuck he felt about me hanging out with George. George pulls up to a pool in my neighborhood, and I pull my car up, and then I hop in George's car, and you know, I'm trying to have conversation with George, but he is just very bland and very boring, and I thought it was just him being shy, but then I realized like this is his personality, like, and we're just sitting there smoking in silence, and like every once in a while I'll say something and he'll just be like, and like that would just be it, and I'm just like, okay. And like George wasn't cute at all. Like he had like fluorescent color eyes or whatever, but he just looked like a regular ass nigga in my opinion. Like bitches was really wilding out here over George, but he just wasn't cute to me. And then his personality was super bland, so it just turned me off. After that night, I was like, all right, George, I gotta go, because my ex was blowing up my phone talking about where are you, who are you with, why are you ignoring me, whatever. So I was like, you know what, this isn't even worth all the trouble or whatever, you know, I'm just about to leave because this isn't even an enjoyable time. I went home, and as soon as I started driving, I texted him and I'm just like, dude, like, do you not like me? Like, do I intimidate you? Like, what's going on? And he was just like, no.
I like you a lot, actually.
Oh, well, I didn't mean it like me. I meant like, do you not like me as a person?
No, like, you are amazing. Like, you're so outspoken, you're so social, you're so pretty, blah, blah, blah.
I thought you didn't even like me as a person because when we're in the car, you're just quiet as fuck. Like, you don't talk much. And he's like,
I'm not a big talker and whatever.
Okay, well, I'm very communicative, so.
Okay, so when are you gonna let me take you out next?
I really don't want to do that. Like, I really would rather us just keep the relationship how we have it, and just like me buying weed from you and you dropping it off, you know? Like, I really don't want this to go any farther than it already is.
Oh, I'm gonna change your mind, just watch. I'm gonna change your mind, like, I really want to be with you, blah, blah, blah.
Once, at first he was like, I'm gonna change your mind, I'm gonna change your mind. Then it turned into, okay, this bitch isn't about to fuck with me, so I'm gonna make it a little bit harder to get what the fuck she wants. So then he was like, oh, I want you to come to my house to pick up the weed instead of him driving. We both lived on Southside, but if you know where Jacksonville is, he lived on the fucking expressway and I lived on Southside Boulevard. Like, so it wasn't too out of my way, but it was still aggravating that I had to drive all the way to the fucking hood to get a fucking dime bag or something. So I would drive to his house or whatever, and he would come out the house and give me the weed, and then I would leave. But there was one instance where I pulled up to his house and he was already in the car with a girl. And mind you, this girl looked young as fuck. At the time I was 18, but still, like, the girl looked visibly young. And she was just staring me down. Like, she was gunning me down with her fucking eyes. Like, and George got out the car and he handed me my weed. All right, thanks, bye. Even as I'm backing up, I see this girl like look over behind her so she could see me backing out, and she's just like eyeballing me. And then as soon as I started driving forward, I noticed she was yelling at George. And I'm like, is that like your little sister or something? Like, what the fuck is going on, right? So George kept trying to hit me. After that, I kind of like was like, fuck it, I'm done. Like, I'm not about to keep fucking with George. And then I went back to my old weed man. So my friend, I mentioned her a few times. I'm still cool with her, but I'm just gonna give her a fake name because I don't wanna, I don't know. I'm just gonna give her a fake name. We're gonna call her Chelsea, whatever. So my friend Chelsea, she and I are still really close to this day, and she told me, she was like,
you'll never guess who's my new roommate.
Because she was in a similar situation like me, where like my name and everything is on the lease, but like I'll have people live with me and just pay the rent or whatever, right?
Never guess who lives with me.
And I'm like, who?
George and his baby mom.
Really? She was like, yeah.
George and his baby mom live here.
It went from that to like a few months later being like,
yo, George moved out because he would always have like niggas coming to my house trying to get weed, and then his baby mom is done with him, and you know that girl's only 16.
I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Because mind you, when me and Chelsea got our first apartments, it was probably like a year and a half after my freshman year of college. So that girl was only like 14, 15 when we first made eye contact, and I verified that it was her because I went over to Chelsea's house and I seen the girl in person. It's that same girl. So she's only 16, living on her own with a baby in my friend Chelsea's house, and like Chelsea felt bad and she's like, I gotta take care of it. Like, I gotta make sure she has a roof over her head. And Chelsea wasn't paying her side of the rent. Chelsea was just, you know, giving that girl a place, because nobody's gonna let a 16-year-old get on a lease, like, realistically. And the girl did pay her rent and everything, like, so it was cool. I went over to Chelsea's house one time, and George came to Chelsea's house to see if his baby mom was there. His baby mom was not there. So you know what George does? He's coming up to me trying to mac me up, talking about,
hey, you know, I still feel the same way I felt about you, and blah, blah, blah.
And I told him straight up, I'm like, George, yo BM lives in that room right there. Like, what is wrong with you? And she's young as fuck. Like, what is wrong with you? And he just like got upset.
Why are you gonna talk about my kid? Like, why are you talking about my kid? We're not talking about my kid.
We're not talking about your kid. Like, this has nothing to do with your child. I'm telling you, you're disrespecting your BM. Like, that's not cool.
We're not even together.
I'm like, okay, well, look, I don't want shit to do with that. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Hey, bro, I just came here to see if my old lady was here, but whatever.
And he leaves. So that was the last time I had like face-to-face contact with George. Then fast forward to now, maybe about like 4 or 5 months ago, I get a DM on Instagram saying,
I didn't know you did this YouTube shit.
And I responded and I was like, yeah, I do. Who is this?
George.
George who?
Oh, George, like I used to be at Chelsea's house, George.
Oh, George. Okay, George.
Yeah, I didn't know you was on this YouTube shit. Like, you should totally put my music on your YouTube channel.
And I'm like, nah, I'm straight, George. I'm good.
And so it's like that.
And I'm like, yeah, it's like that, George. No thank you, sir. My people don't want to hear your music. Like, sorry. And then I definitely don't do free promotions on this bitch. Like, bye-bye, sir. It was my last interaction with him, period, right? So I have a liquor store by my house, and I went to the liquor store one day and I noticed there were 4 pictures in the windows, and it was of people who had stolen from the liquor store. And I looked closely at one of the pictures. It was George. It was George stealing and leaving the liquor store. So I go into the liquor store. The ladies, it's a black-owned business. The black ladies that own the liquor store. And
Ooh, girl, I saw how you was looking at that picture. I already know you know somebody.
I was like, no, I don't, because I didn't know George's phone number. I didn't know George's last name. All I knew was his common name. Sure, his name isn't George, but his real name is very common. And his Instagram handle. Like, how is that gonna help anybody? I was like, damn, that's fucked up. Like, they're gonna catch him soon. Basically, the lady told me that they had all came in as a group. It was like 6 of them. They all came in as a group and then just stole some of the lower shelf bottles and then walked out. 2 of them got caught already, but George and like 3 other people or whatever like are still out there. And till this day, George's picture is still on the liquor store because he's a fucking thief. Like, and that's that. That is the time where the weed man tried to get with me, and yeah, it was really awkward. I'm glad that like I wasn't like a lot of girls at my age at that time, because I know a lot of girls, like when I was talking to my friends about it, like Pisces and all of them, they were just like, girl, you should just be with him, you'll get free weed, blah 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 blah. But it's like, there's more to life than getting free weed. Like, this whole fucking drug dealers fad just needs to end, because it's like, you're gonna have so many more problems. This nigga's out here stealing, he's knocking up babies. Like, it's just not worth all the hassle. So yeah, that is my story. Let me know if anything similar has ever happened to you. He doesn't even have to be a drug dealer. Like, has a dude ever just been so persistent, knowing that he got a BM on the side and then he out here doing hood rat shit? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
The truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off.